Hello, I'm Lord Jimskull, and you're watching You Have Issues, a programme all about comics. You know, aside from Batman, there are several heroes based in Gotham who are, with some exceptions, part of the Batman family. Batman family has, over the years, expanded to a very impressive roster, but nothing stood out to me more than the exploits of one particular team. That's right, ladies and germs, we're talking about Birds of Prey. The Birds of Prey are an all-female superhero team based in Gotham and operate with the approval of Batman. After Barbara was shot and paralysed by the Joker in controversial 1988 story The Killing Joke, she refused to give up fighting crime and established a new identity of Oracle and used her astounding intellect and computer skills to assist the many heroes of the DC universe. She recruited martial arts expert Black Canary to conduct covert investigations in various locations around the world. The team made their first appearance in a 1995 one-shot called Black Canary Oracle Birds of Prey, written by Chuck Dixon, which proved phenomenally popular and spawned an ongoing series that began in 1999. The series enjoyed the same success as its preceding one-shot and frequently crossed over with other Batman titles. Such examples are storylines such as The Joker's Last Laugh, Officer Down, The Hunt for Oracle, and War Games. When writer Gail Simone took over the title in issue 56, she added 2 more characters to the team as well as relocating the team to Metropolis. Oracle and Black Canary were joined by the short-tempered Huntress and time-displaced World War II pilot Lady Blackhawk. The team even had a revolving door membership drive at one point, featuring the likes of former Female Fury and gorgeous bruiser Big Barda, Batman's thieving indecisive love interest Catwoman, lethal martial arts master Lady Shiva, lawyer by day, ass-kicker by night Manhunter, and the generously endowed Kryptonian Power Girl. The camaraderie amongst the team is one of the series' strong points. It started out as Oracle directing Black Canary via radio, despite the fact that Canary had not met her until issue 21, and this grew into a close friendship that does wonders for the team's spirit of the group. An interesting challenge to this team dynamic is when Lady Shiva joined the team. Initially, she is shown to be rude and belligerent, but also develops a warrior's respect for Black Canary. This is due to her own mastery of several fighting styles. The tone of the series is fantastic. It's not dark or moody like Batman's own titles. In fact, tonally, it shares more in common with its sister titles Robin and Nightwing. The characters are superbly written as awesome and smart superheroines in their own right, and not ineffectual heroes who have to keep calling in the big guns to bail them out every time. The characters are all very likeable, and the interactions between them are very heartwarming and generally badass. Despite the all-female roster, male characters have appeared in the series to assist the team, but are not official members. Such characters are Bruiser's Savant and Creote, Barbara's on-off love interest Nightwing, JSA hard-ass Wildcat, and finally, lovable hero Ted Kord, who ditched the Blue Beetle identity due to heart trouble, and he also finances the team. The first ongoing series lasted until 2009 due to the events of Batman RIP, which saw the cancellation of several Batman titles. Up until its cancellation, it lasted a very impressive 127 issues. After the events of The Blackest Night, it was brought back for another series. This series was a welcome reunion and added Hawk and Dove to the team, with the former being the first official male member. There were other memorable appearances from the likes of the Golden Age hero Phantom Lady, and of course former Gotham Central cop Renee Montoya, who was operating as the Question after quitting the force. This series only lasted 15 issues, and here's why. Flashpoint arrived, which brought us a new Birds of Prey title nothing short of disappointing. Written by Dwayne Swazinski and with lovely art by Jesus Sayers, unfortunately this series is full of problems in my opinion. Hear me out. Well, for a start, they've erased all history of the team, its previous incarnation, and their status as superheroes. Now, they're a team of fugitives who are all being pursued for different reasons. Black Canary was framed for the murder of her husband, who in this new continuity isn't Green Arrow. New character Starling possesses secrets from the government, Poison Ivy, no explanation needed there, and Katana, who has declared war on the Yakuza for the murder of her husband, who she now communicates with through her sword. I'm not making that up, honestly, she talks to her sword during random intervals. So as a result, the birds aren't trusted by the likes of Batman, and most other superheroes for that matter, so they really have to fly below radar. Get it? You fly, you below radar, you know, birds. Oh, f*** off. One could argue that this new incarnation is a way of breathing new life into the franchise, which I don't think was necessary, but you know the worst thing about this whole thing? Batgirl joins the team. Look, don't get me wrong, I always thought Batgirl would be awesome on a team. However, I just think it's silly that Barbara has to join a team that she founded and led in previous publications. And to top it off, she's joined a team of outlaws, which is a huge contradiction. I particularly don't like that the team are comprised of fugitives and villains, thus the team are assembled hastily and trust issues are rife. I'm also really sick of bickering and infighting amongst team members. People always argue that this creates drama and is a strong narrative device. I agree up to a point, but the thing is, it's a trope that has been so ridiculously overused in comics. Justice League International had all the bickering and infighting cranked up to 11, but was done for humorous effect and was one of the best-selling titles of the 90s. I just hate it when it's needlessly done for the sake of it. Marvel is notorious for this, as they have several splinter groups of Avengers and none of which get along with each other. Not to mention that the heroes have been fighting each other for years, and it's a distinctive characteristic of Marvel. This isn't necessarily a bad thing altogether. I think it works very well for Marvel, but personally I read DC because such dynamics within teams are very minimal. This style has worked for some fantastic books like Marvel's Thunderbolts and DC's Secret Six and Suicide Squad. It's effective because the protagonists are villains who perform heroic deeds much to their own annoyance. It's a good contrast to the idealistic heroes of old, but it's not something that should be the norm, and as a result I feel it's out of place in this title. Contrary to popular belief, you can write perfectly good superhero fiction without everyone at each other's throats all the time. Alright, it's a little bit more difficult, but it's not impossible. I'm not saying I dislike the use of tension as a narrative. What I mean is that writers often miss the point by having conflict amongst team members as standard in modern superhero comics. If everything went smoothly in fiction, it would just make for very boring stories, so there does need to be some kind of opposition or challenge to the idealistic heroes. Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that what the villains are for? This isn't necessarily a dig at the writer himself, as he's written some fantastic crime novels. At the risk of sounding like a whinging fanboy, his depiction of the group as femme fatales just isn't the group that I know and love. I'm not a writer of fiction myself, so I don't really think I'm in any position to criticise the writing methods for a comic in such a pedantic fashion. This is of course my opinion, but discussion and debate is always welcome, so leave a comment here, a Twitter message or a Facebook message and we can discuss it then. Anyway, look, I digress. I just prefer reading team books where everyone gets along, alright? So far I've been really unhappy with the New 52, and this is just another reason why. This isn't Birds of Prey, this is just season 2 of Prison Break with supermodels. I dropped the title after 8 issues. I patiently stuck with the new series, but I was really just buying it out of habit rather than actually enjoying it. This of course lasted until I decided to go back and read some pre-Flashpoint Birds of Prey, and it only made me realise how much I vehemently hate the new series. Sorry DC, you really disappointed me with this new Birds of Prey. Aside from comics, the birds have appeared in other mediums of entertainment as well. There was a TV series in 2002 that ran for 13 episodes and took place in Gotham City after it was abandoned by Batman. I have a lot to say about this series, not much of it is good, and it deserves its own special episode which I'm working on at the moment. The Justice League Unlimited episode Double Date was written by Gail Simone. While the birds as we know them don't appear, this episode does consist of a team up between Huntress and the Question after the former was kicked out of the league. Green Arrow and Black Canary also feature in this episode and has the trademark wit and unflinching action that I think is a unique feature to the Birds of Prey. My favourite appearance of the team in animation was in the Brave and the Bold episode The Mask of Matches Malone, also written by Gail Simone, where Black Canary, Huntress and Catwoman are assembled to assist Batman in his criminal disguise Matches Malone to take down a mob boss. Unfortunately, Batman develops amnesia as a result of a bump on the head and believes himself to be the gangster Matches Malone, so it's up to the birds to carry out the mission and get Batman back to his old self. This episode had a very memorable musical number from the ladies that's very witty and chock full of subtle jokes for older viewers. Definitely one of my favourite episodes from this brilliant series. Thank you for watching this episode of You Have Issues. I'm Lord Jimsicle, and I know it's been bloody ages since our last comic-based episode, so here are the fill-in-the-blanks entries from episode 10. And now, here's this episode's one. I'll see you soon.